Hi, welcome back. This is Angela with Dogwood Paper Arts, and we are back to work on our Hortensia journal. And I told you I would go ahead and poke my holes through here, and I would save one to do with you. And so I did. But here's the ones with all the little holes. And I will show you how I finally did it, because I did not like the method of running the stripe of pencil mark on it. That didn't work well for me. So I saved one for us to do. Also, I wanted to show you, do you remember the offcuts I had from the inside papers here that we had? When I cut them off this edge, we had, it was the bottom. We had this much extra paper. Well, I took those and I practiced my kettle stitch on this one, and I made a little mini journal. So this little mini journal measures, the outside measures, that's centimeters, Angela. It measures 5 13/16 by 2 13/16. Those inside pages are approximately 5.5 by 2 inches, 2.5 inches. That was just the offcuts on the bottom of the paper that I had, and I just left them in their stacks of 4, and then I sewed them into signatures. I sewed the signatures using the kettle stitch, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. But anyway, cute little journal, isn't it? Look at that. And they're not real even, and part of that is because I didn't line all these up and cut them off all even once they were cut away from the paper here. So some are this way, some are that way, but you know, I really like it like that. It's very unique. So anyway, this is kind of where we're headed with our book, but it won't have this kind of cover. I'm debating whether or not to use a fabric cover or maybe one of these like this. This is rice paper, so I'm debating about using that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you first how I did the, I'm going to put these up here by my, no, I'm not. My sewing machine doesn't like that, so I'm not going to do that. Sorry, Mr. Sewing Machine. Okay, let me move this out of the way and we'll get down to brass tacks, which is my messy board here. And let's see, how close in are we? This book, you can see, has stab holes. Now, this would be upside down if I did that way, I believe. So we're going to make this our top on this one. What I did was I took that measurement that I had on the original one, and then I went ahead and set a ruler down and I did it here. I punched the holes through this, and then I marked the word top on it. Even though it should be the same size as each book page, sometimes they were just a little bit off, like this one. Can you see that? Can you see it's off just a little bit, like an 1/16 of an inch there? So I went ahead and I lined the top up always on the straight edge. And then I need to find my awl. We're either all in or we're all out. What is it? What's it going to be? Here it is. So I just press that down in the spine of my book. Make sure it's lined up at the top. Go straight down through and poke a hole. Straight down through. There we go. I'm trying to leave this kind of open for you, but I also want to make sure I get into my spine. My book spine, not my spine. Yes, we did. So then what I do is I remove that, and then I just go ahead and run that through to the largest size of the awl. Now if you have one of the big fat awls, I have one, I can show it to you, and I can show you the difference between the two. Take this when you're done with it and set it on the next one. Now this should be the bottom and this should be the top. This will be my first signature. So I am going to set these up here like this in front of me. Send you out a little bit. I'm going to move this. I don't need it now. Put it over there. Okay. Because it takes a little bit of room to do this stitch, because we'll be flopping the book open and closed, I'm going to take these right side up and put them in front of me with the signature opening facing away from me. You see those back there? Okay. Then I'm going to bring, wait, am I doing that right? No, I'd be doing it wrong. I think I have to maybe start from the bottom. That will just mix me up. I need to start here from the top. Anyway, I know I need to take these first two, and then I will be adding on to the bottom of them. That's right. Okay. But first I take this one. I forgot what I was going to show you. I'm sorry, I don't remember. It'll probably come to me. So I'm going to start my timer. And the stitch we're going to do is called the kettle stitch. And I am using linen thread. It's an unwaxed, unbleached. It's a 3 gauge, and it is for bookbinding. It comes on a piece like this, cardboard like this. And it comes in a plastic bag. And I'll put it back in the plastic bag when I'm done using it here today. Oh, the awl. Here's the difference between the two. Now, let me put them up there, see if you can see it. This is just a real thin one, and I like it a lot. This makes them nice and wide and big and open, but sometimes I feel like the hole is a little too large. So I can show you here what I'm talking about. Oh no, I don't want to use that paper. Let me use a piece of scrap paper here. If I were to fold this over and bring my book back and poke a hole here, then there's that one, and then this one, let me show you the size it makes. There really is quite a bit of difference. This one, if you poke it through even more, you get a nice big hole. And some people like them that way, and if you're working in a really heavy-duty journal or something, then, you know, you might want to do that. But you can see there what the difference is. So anyway, sometimes I do use that all if I am going through a lot of paper and I need a little bit larger hole. Oh, throw that back in the drawer, Angela. Okay, so to get down to what we're doing here. This is our first signature. We're stitching this way. You know what? I think I do need to start on the bottom. And work my way back up to the top. Okay. So, that's what we're going to do. Start at the bottom. And let's see if I can remember how to do this. I have tied a knot in my thread. You want to start at the first hole. Oh, and I am using a curved needle, and you'll see why I'm doing that here in just a little bit. Now, this thread is not waxed, so it will bunch up. So there's that one. I don't want to pull that all the way through yet. I don't ever want to pull it all the way through. So then you go down your next hole. The first row, the first signature, you are setting up the rest of the kettle stitch for the whole book. Where's that hole? There it is. Now they make these needles in all kinds of sizes, so if this is too small for you, then certainly get a larger one out. So I'm just going up and down. And so now you can kind of see why I wanted a lot of space. And there should be 6 of them. Okay. So now we're going to go back up through this one. That's the next one up from it. I'm going to have to turn it over. Because as you stitch them, the pages do kind of still separate from each other. And through that one. I can see this one string's a little loose, so I'm going to want to pull it just slightly. You don't want to tear your paper. Down through this one. I hope I'm on camera for you. And down through this one. Now we're going to go back up through this one with the knot. Try not to go through your knot. And we don't want to pull that knot through to the other side. See that? Okay. Now we're going to tie this first set off. So we're going to go under our thread, our binding thread. Going to pull that through. And if you need help getting a knot close to the area where you're trying to make your knot, then this little trick will help you. You just line up all your threads so that they're not all uneven. Otherwise you're going to have an extra string up here. pull your knot, then pull out your tool. Now that knot did not get really small like I wanted it to, but we're going to try and send it back to the back now that we're all tied off. So we run this back through the hole. Now pull that knot gently through the hole. It's kind of a big knot, so there it goes. There we go. So there's our first signature. Now let's see. This is our top. Okay, so we're back at the top. Now this thread that did get a little bit loose, it will actually get glued down since it's back here on the back. So it's not a lot to worry about. Uh-oh. My knot came out. Did you see that? Oh, I didn't tie it tight enough. Goodness, that was a bad first show, huh? No, don't want that. I think it's a little easier when you have just a straight needle. They're a little easier to make your knots. Well, I didn't say it was always going to be easy. There we go. Okay. Now before I let go of that, I'm going to run this through, and instead of getting my needle through there so fast, I'm going to go ahead and just bring it up closely, come around, make sure I do it exactly the right way this time. Okay. Now I should be knotted off. If I come back through this hole and I'm not, I don't know what to say. I've got a good knot in it this time. There we go. You feel it just kind of pop through there. Alright, now we've got it. Whew. I was going to say, I'm not giving you a good example. Okay. Now we flip this one on top of this one. And we go through the first hole. Oh goodness. Okay. So we come through the first hole. And then we go through the next hole. Okay. Now what we do is we go under the thread on the right right here. This is called the kettle stitch. Untangle your thread. You have to be a little patient with it every now and then. Okay, you're on the right side. Now you come back up on the left side of this other hole through that other thread. Pull your thread through. And then you go back into the same hole. Okay, so there's our first nice kettle stitch. Now we go to the next hole. And then we again go, you see that okay? Under the thread on the right side. This is on the first signature we did. So we're on the right. You'll see why I have a curved needle in just a little bit. I've tried it both ways, and although I don't like the curved needle on this part, I do like it on the next part. So we come back up on the left, under this thread, then back through the hole, does get a little monotonous holding the book, and so you can see we're on our 1, 2, 3rd stitch. Let's move to the 4th one. And we come back out through there. And we're going to go on the right side, up the left side, and back through that hole. find your next hole. Sometimes you can find it just by running your needle gently along the spine there. Back through the hole. And we are just about to a place where I'm comfortable with tying this off and getting new thread. So I'm going to try not to confuse myself this time. Okay, we're going to run that little knot back through the other side. You can take this down as far as you want. Pull your knot to the outside. Clip your extra threads. And I'm going to leave them a little long because they will get glued down into the spine. You want to leave yourself enough space to make your knots. And so I do cut mine off maybe a little too soon. And now I'm going to get about 2 more feet of linen thread. There's 1 foot right there. And I'm measuring it on my board here. I have the green mat underneath this one. Or 2 yards of thread is what I'm using. Sorry, not feet. Sorry about that. I probably said that the first time too. Thing about using this much is you do have to be careful about running it through your book so that you don't get a bunch of knots. Line up your ends. Get your knot in there. And then going right back through that same hole. You don't want to pull that knot through with it. Now we're going to go down to the next hole. Right here. Oops, look at that. I have a mess. Okay, around that last kettle stitch we made, back in the hole. And into the last hole. Around that last stitch. Oops. Oopsie. And then this one goes up to the next level. And we go through the hole. So that's basically what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch these in, and then I will come back to you when I am on the last signature. All right, be right back. Hi again, I'm back, and we are ready to finish up with our last signature. So, I have already got started in it. Yep. So, I'm on the third hole. So once again, going through under our last stitch. There we go. Back under this one. And back through the hole. Oops. I curled my page there. Well, it'll get flattened out here pretty soon. Okay. Pull those extra threads out. You don't want those on the inside. And now we're going to tie it off in here. So go through under your thread. And loop it through. Make your knot there. And then we are going to go back through the hole. And pull that knot through. Just a little bit. And then I always like to tie mine off, or when I did this before, would tie it off. And make one more knot back here. And clip your threads. Okay. So now we have some extra threads out here. So go ahead and get all those so they're up on the spine. It's easier to use the awl or your needle. Okay, we're going to glue these into our signature. Now I do not have a bookbinding squisher thing, so I am going to squish this between some books. I'm going to set it on my table so it doesn't fall off the table, just like this. And I'm going to get some heavy books and sit on here. And then I'm going to glue this all down. Now we want a book that is the same amount of weight on both sides. So let me get a big dictionary that I have. Hi, Libby. This is how you do it without all the bells and jangles. You see that? Leave a little bit of space here because we don't want to glue our book. Now I'm going to set the other one on top of it because I want it really squished. And I'm offsetting them just a little bit so that they will squish down on the spine even better. I have my glue brush here. And hopefully it'll work. I'm going to scoot this back so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to put at least 2 coats of PVA glue on your spine. Just trying to make sure that that's nice and even there. I'm getting it as close to the edge as I can. And I have some pH neutral PVA glue. I got it a long time ago. I don't even know really if it's still good. I'm just going to put it in the lid here. It's okay if you get a little on the top of the book. Go ahead and do like I did and just peel it back off. Wipe it away. Okay. Now, I am going to carefully lift that up and put this under here. Oh, you can see where there's excess glue right there. Go ahead and wipe that off. I'm going to put that there. I'll set that on top, and I'm going to peek underneath and be sure it's squished between those sandwiches. And then I'm going to put this one on top. If I could take my camera down and show, yeah, I would, but... So now the book is really squished together, so all that glue is now popped back out and it's settling back down into the signatures as a nice even piece. And I'm going to leave that to dry, for quite a while. Hopefully my wax paper is between those two. And when we come back, we will set up our text block. That's what's under here now, is our text block. We will set it up to get it ready to bind into a book. So that will be our next program. Oh, I was going to tell you. Practice your kettle stitch on your little signature pieces. Or if you haven't made any, just practice it on, make some little signature blocks. And you can end up with one of these little journals if you like too. I just thought it was cute. Nice little journal. So, anyway, thank you again for hanging out with me. I will see you tomorrow with something different, maybe. Unless this is dry, then we'll keep this up. Because once it's done, it's done. I mean, it's almost a book now. Cool. So, all right. See you later. Bye.